complementary uses. So the idea is you create a mixed-use precinct that the activities carry on 24/7 and 7 days a week.
To make the round-the-clock Marina Bay model work, the URA needed infrastructure. In land-scarce Singapore, that meant going underground, using precision-designed layers of essential services, including water and electrical tunnels, pedestrian and commercial spaces, transportation infrastructure like highways and subways, and even telecommunication superhighways. These hidden underground systems have been designed to meet the needs of Singapore for the next 50 years. But some in Singapore are looking beyond that, already imagining the cities of the far future.
I actually think that the future of Singapore is not just about increasing the density around transportation nodes of activity. I actually think it's about exploring air rights as well.
Jason Pomeroy has grand visions for his city. The award-winning architect of Singapore's first zero-carbon house, the Bee House, his designs are pushing the boundaries of how Singapore might look more than 50 years from now.
Think about creating structures over roads, over motorways, topping up above existing structures. The rooftops today might be sky courts, sky gardens of recreation.
If cities expand upwards into the skies, conventional methods of road transportation may no longer be effective. Perhaps the future of urban transportation will play a major part in shaping the way we live.
And then all of a sudden you're going to need to think about how to get people up there. You know, if you were to fast forward 50 years from now, we already see drone technology becoming so advanced. Why are we not sticking people into those drones? Again, a bit like Blade Runner. All of a sudden, your sky courts, your sky gardens, even your private terraces to your condo is actually a landing platform for your own personalized drone.
Though the idea of us flying to work may be decades away, drone technology is advancing rapidly and could become integral to the evolution of transportation in the cities of tomorrow. In Singapore, the government has thrown its support behind an advanced program to test the limits of drone capabilities in the world's rapidly expanding urban environments.
Yeah, we will release the drone.
Skyways is Airbus's project that is exploring this urban air delivery domain, or basically cargo delivery with drones project. The drone that we're using is actually fully customized or fully designed by our team here in Singapore.
To ensure maximum safety in the air, the drones have multiple aerospace-grade navigation systems, so that if one system malfunctions, it can rely on others to fly to its destination.
The packages that we can deliver by design today is up to 4 kilograms. What we understand is that 4 kilograms would cover perhaps about 80–85% of all the packages that or parcel deliveries that are done today.
Once the package has been delivered to its slot, the mailbox automatically sends a personalized code to the customer, so they can pick up the package 24/7.
And just like that, parcel comes back. In Airbus, one of our visions is what we call urban air mobility. So flying taxis, for example. Skyways is about enabling this technology. It's about looking and moving towards a future where we have then a flying transportation means in an urban setting.
Singapore innovators are imagining and experimenting the what's next for urban travel. Drone technology may be the next revolution liberating commuters from their two-dimensional travel. But the challenges facing all of our cities may be more elemental than where we will build and how to get around. Providing food and water for the millions of people that will pack into our urban environments could be the biggest challenge yet. As urban populations rise, the world will face unprecedented challenges. How to house, transport, and most importantly, feed its people. In the future, as rural populations decrease, ensuring food stability will be key. In land-scarce Singapore, it's a challenge that is already being confronted.
Right now, 93% of produce is imported into Singapore, and that's because there just simply isn't enough land to do farming practices.
Benjamin Swan came to Singapore as an engineer on the Marina Bay Sands project. But having fallen in love with the city, he recognized a challenge and an opportunity to help the nation towards its goal of food sustainability. Ben is developing a new way to grow food, not just in Singapore, but in any urban environment.
Sustainera is a controlled environment agriculture farm. We effectively replicate what's happening outside in nature to grow impossible products in impossible places.
Singapore is a trailblazer in this technology, having opened the world's first commercial vertical farm in 2012. Now Sustainera, through their patented processes, are able to grow produce indoors, without sunlight and without soil.
What we actually have done is we've come up with our own system here to introduce the seeds directly into the foam cube. So what that does is ensures that we have 100% germination success. This room has been specially designed to take the plant from its initial germination through to a mature state where we can introduce it into the main grow rooms.
These large-scale growing rooms are astonishing feats of agricultural technology. The precision calibration of the growing environment allows these new-age farmers to optimize cultivation at every stage in the plant's growth.
We control the air temperature, the humidity, the light durations, the light wavelength. We control the dissolved oxygen in the water as well as the carbon dioxide saturation in the air.
In these closely monitored growing rooms, Sustainera is creating food history.
First ever Singaporean grown strawberries. We're actually growing 3 varieties in this room. What we've learned through controlled environment agriculture, we can actually emphasize certain characteristics of the plant. So without using GMO, we can make our kale softer. We can actually make it sweet. A lot of the Singaporeans don't like their products to be bitter. So we took it into our R&D lab, and what we found was by manipulating the air temperature and humidity and also the wavelength of light and the growth cycles, we were able to create this great product that we're growing today.
Not only is this farm able to produce vegetables perfectly calibrated for Singaporeans, but the techniques could provide vital farming areas for the densely populated cities of the future. Traditional land farming grows produce outside on a flat, linear area. Sustainera's system grows food inside, in any building, expanding agriculture's footprint up into the sky.
So what vertical farming means for places like Singapore that has very little or has land scarcity is that we can leverage buildings to grow product. And with the efficiency that we have within our footprint, we believe one day that we could actually produce enough produce indoors to sustain Singapore's demand.
Fresh, available food will be a necessity in our cities, not only to feed citizens, but also to keep them healthy. As populations age and the incidence of diabetes continues to rise across the developed world, Singapore, like all cities, needs to encourage its citizens to eat smart and well.
We wanted to deploy food and beverages as a tool to manage. It could be health, it could be wellness, it could be performance, and of course also for fitness as well.
Believe it or not, these colorful sculptures are edible. They are the creations of Dr. Lee Man Wai, a scientist at Singapore Polytechnic's Food Innovation and Resource Centre. Using the latest breakthroughs in technology, she is creating food tailored to the exact caloric and nutrition needs of Singapore's senior citizens.
We wanted to look at personalized nutrition for a target group of people. So what we started off is basically looking at people with different lifestyles or otherwise looking at people with different health conditions.
To realize her vision, Dr. Lee collaborated with bioengineer Mark Wong to build a piece of wearable tech that can monitor a person's nutritional requirements.
What we have developed here at Singapore Polytechnic is what we call the InterSense system. It's in a form factor of a watch. The app, it's pulling data from the wearable. So this data can then be fed to algorithms to compute specialized individual nutrients that are customized for that individual. So a 3D printer could then use this data and print out the appropriate nutrient values suitable for that individual.
Dr. Lee's system is one of the first of its kind in Singapore, and perhaps the world, to pair wearable tech with 3D printing to create food with personalized nutritional values.
This particular printer actually has a beautiful way of allowing us to customize nutrition. So there should be probably a chicken rice that is actually high in calcium, some that is actually good for potassium and different types of vitamins and minerals that is a custom.
While still an experimental prototype, the potential is staggering. This jelly packs a punch with the necessary nutrients for optimizing health and even preventing diseases.
With greater sets of data from each individual, we can now create a whole library or database and identify trends by using machine learning or using AI. So that is extremely powerful in the near future, to be able to predict potential health issues and mitigate those health issues in population centers before events occur.
Through imaginative planning and technological innovation, Singapore is finding new ways to house and feed its growing population. But perhaps one of the biggest challenges facing any global city will be ensuring a constant, safe supply of that most precious of resources, water. Singapore currently uses 2 billion litres of water a day. The most efficient source of fresh water is rain. And to capitalize on this resource, the nation is crisscrossed with an extensive network of rivers and canals that channel every last precious drop of rain into 17 storage reservoirs.
About 2/3 of Singapore is a water catchment area. That's about 400 plus square kilometers. So water that falls on a catchment area, it will find its way into our drains and canals, which are linked to one of our reservoirs.
Singapore's catchment system is extensive and efficient. But to collect rainwater, you need land, and lots of it.
Singapore is a small island, so we are limited in terms of the catchment area that we have. And also now with the changing weather patterns, the water coming from rain, it's a bit unpredictable. So we've moved on to more weather resilient water sources like desalination.
As the world warms, every city will need to find fresh solutions to provide their citizens with clean water. In Singapore, the Public Utilities Board is already looking to the future, experimenting with new techniques to push the water potential of the little red dot. Looking ahead, our cities need to overcome a variety of challenges. Rapid urbanization will present problems of growth, housing, and food sustainability. But none may be more crucial than the access to fresh water. Singapore currently imports about half of its daily water requirement. In the next 3 decades, though, the aim is to ensure water sustainability. To do so, planners are looking to a resource the island nation has in abundance: seawater.
I always call this a new toy. Really, it's kind of a toy for us, but seriously, it's a plant that's designed with robustness, reliability. It's fully automated.
Hugh Kit-san oversaw the construction of a brand new state-of-the-art water facility, the Tuas Desalination Plant.
We've been working on this project for the last just over 2 years to get it from a green field and up to the state that you see right behind me, a functional 30 million gallons per day desalination plant.
The Tuas desalination plant is a modern marvel of precision engineering. In land-scarce Singapore, its footprint is a mere 100 meters by 300 meters. That's roughly the size of 3 football fields. This may seem large, but it is a relatively small footprint compared to plants of its kind around the world.
When we did the design and the construction, it was quite a challenge that you got to make sure that they are all stacked and arranged in like a Lego manner, that it all fits nicely into a puzzle and it forms the plant what you see today.
Despite its small footprint, the Tuas desalination plant houses one of the world's most powerful technologies for producing fresh water from the sea, reverse osmosis filters.
That's actually the heart of the plant, where the salt in the seawater gets separated or removed from the water. The white tubes in there is the reverse osmosis membrane, where filtered water will be pushed through the membrane.
This high-tech process is a key part of preparing Singapore for the future. But conventional water desalination is energy intensive. The electricity you would need to desalinate enough water for just 1 day of Singapore's needs could power a Singaporean household for 1,000 years. To save energy and reduce the cost of water desalination, the PUB is now investing in new research. Evoqua is a company working on the desalination process of tomorrow.
We are demonstrating our next ED technology for seawater desalination.
Electrodialysis uses electricity to remove salt from seawater. Pairs of electrodes are placed in a stream of salt water, with 1 positive electrode and 1 negative. The positively charged sodium ions are attracted to the negative electrode, and the negatively charged chlorine ions are attracted to the positive electrode. This concentrates the salt around the electrodes. The process is repeated until the water is salt-free.
Right now we are building a demonstration plant with a capacity of 3,800 meter cube per day. We have plans to further scale up this technology with a capacity of 100,000 meter cube per day.
Singapore's innovations in housing, food and water are giving us a glimpse of how a forward-thinking city might solve some of the challenges it faces. But these solutions will come at a price. Fast, secure and thriving economies will be essential for facing an uncertain future. And perhaps no nation understands this better than Singapore.
The financial sector is a very, very critical sector for Singapore. Almost 12% of our GDP comes from this sector. So you understand how critical for us to ensure that this sector is a vibrant sector, it is competitive, it attracts the best possible ideas.
As the Chief FinTech Officer of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, Sopnandu Mahanti needs to ensure that the nation sets a world standard for the financial sector. This boils down to one thing: technology innovation.
Most of the services in financial sector are going to be powered by technology.
In 2016, Singapore announced Project Ubin, a new fintech experiment using blockchain technology. Traditionally, banks keep a record of all transactions on their own centralized ledger, which is susceptible to manipulation by hackers. But Project Ubin keeps all records on a blockchain. This means that identical copies of the ledger are kept on a distributed network of computers around the world. These computers check in with each other to ensure that their copy of the ledger is correct. If one of the copies does not match the others, it is rejected and replaced with a copy that the majority of ledgers agree is correct. To tamper with the blockchain to steal money, a hacker would need to hack a majority of the computers on the network simultaneously, a virtual impossibility.
The real killer use case is cross-border transfer. Today it takes 2 to 3 days to move money between 2 countries, the whole overseas transfer. So if we can apply a technology like blockchain it may give us that opportunity to reduce the time to do cross-border transfer and may also reduce the expensive way we move money from a country to B country.
Singapore has long been known as a financial hub, home to major banks from around the world. With Project Ubin, Singapore has ensured that it will stay ahead of the pack when it comes to fintech. In a country short on natural resources, the motto is innovate or die. And Singapore has taken up that challenge, with a startup culture catapulting the nation into the future. Ideas are one of the intangible resources that power cities. Singapore has capitalized on the nation's creative DNA to support and usher in a new wave of innovative companies. One of the biggest startup hubs is ST Engineering's tech incubator, InnoSparks.
We are focused on solving some of the urban challenges, particularly solutions in smart cities as well as health tech.
Medical technology is a $350 billion global industry, one that thrives on the latest ideas.
Start alignment.
Like Alan Go's revolutionary automated needle targeting system.
With End system, we are able to automate the entire needle alignment process, making it very stress-free for the doctors. They can align the needle to the target at a fraction of the time. It is more accurate.
More than just a surgical assistant, Alan's robot can actually help train the next generation of surgeons.
Typically, for surgeons to be expert in terms of puncture, he has to puncture more than 150 times. But with such a device, which is smart, automated, junior surgeons probably just require about 40 to 50 puncture, and they could be an expert in the field of puncture.
InnoSparks has also been key in developing life-saving technologies to solve global health problems.
My name is Jerome. I'm the head of engineering at InnoSparks, and I'm also the lead engineer for AirPlus Smart Mask. So we actually started the project development in 2013 when Singapore was hit with severe haze.
During the 2013 Southeast Asian haze crisis, large-scale wildfires blanketed the region in impenetrable smog, shattering all records and pollution indexes. Stores sold out of high-quality air filtration masks. Worse yet, parents were dismayed to learn that all masks on the market were built